Welcome everybody to the LGHL tier list show. Today joining me is Devin. How you doing, Devin?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. DDW if you're not familiar, but people call him Devin. Just to clarify that situation. We're gonna try making it a quicker show because there's a UFC card going on right now. I was thinking about postponing, but I made the show and people can just watch it. I'll upload the VODs. I'm gonna upload VODs this season. So.
Oh shit! Uploading VODs.
Yeah, we'll be uploading VODs this season. So. Anyways, let's get into things. So, how is the tier list determined? I always start with this: record, roster, and potential. And I had help from my Biggie friends. I sent the list to a few teams. Fly and I hammered it out. I sent it to a few people, including Devin. I think I refined it right. And it's the list we have today. Record, I'm going to say it's actually the lowest probably thing this time around that we leaned on. Because there's some teams that you're going to see that started really, really well that we...
Got third lines.
Yeah, so... We'll see, but yeah, we're going to get into things here. Thank you for the sub, Devin. 4 months. 4 months anniversary.
Yeah, not my wedding, as you asked me before the show started.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's my 4-month anniversary. I'm like, what, your wedding? He's like, no, sub. I'm like, oh. Okay, appreciate it. Anyways, this is what the tier list is here. S tier, best of the best. A tier contender, B tier playoff team, C tier bubble playoff team, D tier just okay, E tier bad, F tier is the yikes. Is there any thought on this here, Devin? Anything?
No. I mean, this is just pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into things here.
Hey, Zach.
There's Zach in the chat. Teammate of yours, anyways.
Yeah, my GM.
There you go. A lot of people here. Dang showed up. He's trying to rebound from last season. Anyways, a lot of people are showing up now. Okay, well.
Not many people are watching the fights. I mean, I had the fight on my monitor next to me because I have money on these, so
we got a bunch of
on the road.
We got a bunch of Hayes bar down coming in. Anyways, let's get into things here. Anaheim, we kick things off in the C tier. I really should have a side monitor up with all the records and stuff. I got to move the chat. Let me move the... Oh, I don't know where to move it. Hold on. Let me move the chat box. Oof. There we go.
Would you like me to tell you Anaheim's Week 1 record?
No. Well, what are your thoughts on Anaheim in the C tier while I actually get my shit together? Clearly that I don't have. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, looking at their roster, there are a lot of... Chris is like an old... Like, all these guys are pretty much like, were really good players on the old gen, and he kind of like, built a lot of old gen guys. Yeah. Mix them with like maybe one or two newer gen guys, like Steelers maybe, but for the most part, all of these guys are just like have been around in the league for a while and have been teammates of Chris or Freak on the Stick, and even his GM CJ, who's a really good player. He's he's still very good. He joins really good ESHL teams, so he still has the skill. It's just all these guys are like older gen players, so. Right. I mean, that's why I think, you put them in the C tier just because they were good previous. They have to prove themselves on, like, the newer games,
Right. Anaheim started off 4-5-0. 8 points.
Yeah.
We expect them to be battling for the playoffs by the end of it.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely, they're a lot of vets, right? So, vets can... You never know with the veteran players. Like, you see it can work out, and then you can have teams like Seti put together in the past that have been god-awful.
Anyways, by the way, the roster is small because it's a formatting thing. It's just the way I formatted it. It's more so to avoid overlap with any of the teams. So that was the best spot, and I just decided to format it the whole way because it was easier. The roster's more so to tell you what team we're on rather than the players. You could see some of the players, but it's just an indicator. It's not really anything. You can look at roster obviously on the website. It's probably updated. Jordan, this is based on record, but less emphasis on record, more so on roster and potential. But it's a blend of everything. All right, let's move on. Great analysis there.
Thank you. I gotta carry the show with no Grizz.
Yeah, no Grizz today, if you haven't noticed. First time in forever. Grizz is taking a personal day today. We're gonna call it that. Anyways, Arizona in the B tier. This team is loaded up front. I've been told they're very top heavy. Beyond their big guns, obviously Sitful, Gilly, Augie being some of them. Obviously the biggest names. But I was told they were top heavy, but they're still a really good team. And that's why they're in the B tier. How did they start? They started 5-1-3. What are your thoughts on this one, Devin?
I mean, looking at the roster, I really like their roster. The Sit hasn't had the most successful career as a manager in LG. And I mean, Gilly, he took a break from the game, but he came back and he's like one of the best, if not the best player in this game.
Really?
And he's sick. Yeah, he's really good. He is really good.
You're staking your claim that Gilly's on top again.
He's one of the best. Like, I don't think anybody can argue that he is probably one of the best players in this game. But like I said, I like their team. I do like their team. I think they're a little weak in some areas, like, a couple of their right Ds. I'm not a huge fan of any of their right Ds. I'm just obviously they have Augie. Augie's very, very good. He's a very good player.
Yep.
But he tends to be a very bad teammate when it comes to LGs. What I've heard from a couple of the Tampa Bay players from last season.
On the show once. He was a good guy.
Oh, he's a very good guy. Like, when it comes to for ESHL, he's a great defenseman. Don't get me wrong. But in LG, he definitely plays that fourth forward role, and like I know some of his D partners on Tampa Bay last season did not like really playing with him because he's very puck dominant, which he should be. $8 million defenseman, one of the top defensemen in the game. He should be puck dominant. I really like Sammy on their team, Sam Delisle. He's he was a center first. He obviously he plays D now in ESHL.
Right.
He was on Vertigo. They unfortunately split up, and he was still really solid.
Is Vertigo officially over?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unless they get back together now, but Guan was on a new team for 3 hours, and then that stopped. All that stuff. I don't want to go into it now.
Yeah, we're not.
But yeah, I really like Sammy. I think Readers is a very good $1 million contract. I really like Readers. Like I said, they have a solid roster, and they definitely deserve to be in a B tier. That's where we have them, right? B.
Yep.
Yeah, B. Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Boston Bruins in the C tier. Boston started 4-4-1. It's run by Rivster and 61. McLovin up front, elite goal scorer there. They have a lot to like, but I think they'll be in the mix at the end of it, battling for a playoff spot. This was the consensus. Boston in the C tier. What are your thoughts, Devin?
Again, I like their forward lineup. I think they have really good forwards like Malcheski. It's always been a good LG player. He scores goals. He's a fast winger. He cherry picks. McLovin, always been a good player. I do like the pickup as Sharp.
Yes.
He finally made his jump to the NHL.
Yeah.
He's been in the AHL management. He definitely deserves to be in the NHL. And 500K is a good and for him to be an AGM, I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, I'm not a fan of this team's defense. I don't know who Glizzy Goblin is. I'm sorry, do not know. Not sure if LeBang is good at 4.5.
LeBang's a really good offensive defenseman.
Okay. We all know Trev Wings.
Yeah.
So. But you said LeBang's a good offensive defenseman?
Yeah, he is. Last season, he won the Les Cunningham Award. That is the MVP of the AHL. And I believe he won the Norris of the AHL, whatever that is, too.
Okay,
he won both.
So he's a guy that made the jump this year from the A to the N. So, okay.
He was
Sharp's that's probably... Okay, that's why... Okay, that makes sense then, yeah. I like Jake. He's one of Lou's guys, or Sweet Lou's guys, but I think $2 million is a decent contract for him. Texas is a pretty solid goalie, and I'm not sure about WTF Kevo, but again, I think this is a very talented forward lineup. Their defense is what I think might be suspect, but who knows? The only forward on this team I don't like is Fire. He's a great guy, but he's a great guy.
Tough.
But there are some guys that are in the AHL.
Fire in this show, he's never caught a break. I used to do Bog tier list shows, and I've always had him not in a great tier. And he's taken notice to that. Anyways, Glizzy Goblin, we got a correction. That is Trap Lord. Do you know who that is, Trap Lord?
No.
Okay, well, that's that. Let's move on. We got Buffalo in the E tier. Buffalo, let me just say, I will not be fooled with the record. I think that's fool's gold at the moment. 6-2-1, 13 points. Last season, these guys were dead last. Buffalo Star last season did come into the chat and said, we will turn it around. Book it.
They never turned it around.
But I guess he was talking about this season. But regardless, Buffalo, yeah. There's a lot here. I don't see anything that maybe, I don't know. I'll let you take that. I'll let you take the player portion, but go ahead.
I'm pretty sure a couple of my teammates, when we realized that they were 6-2-1 or whatever you said, we actually went back and we looked at their lines, and I don't think they faced. I'm pretty sure they faced all third lines. I don't want to be mean. I do like Eagle Killer. I think Eagle Killer is a good player. Is he a free contract worthy? Probably not, because he was cheap. He was $500K or whatever. Maybe $1 million. He probably could have, re-signed and got traded there. But that's probably the only forward I like. Other than that, I think Buffalo Stars team's going to crash and burn. I don't think they're going to be able to keep pace with what they're doing right now.
They won't. And And I gave him the E tier out of respect for the record, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We may hear it a little bit from Buffalo, but I hope he does prove us wrong, to be honest with you.
True. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if he proves it. I mean, he did have a very bad season last year, like probably like really bad. But the season before that, I'm pretty sure his team made the playoffs.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, so he could prove us completely wrong, but it's a tougher division, and there was some bad starts in that division. So, anyways, let's move on. Calgary in the E tier as well. Again, not the greatest start this time. I think their record is an indication of what they did. 2-5-2. They have Guan up front, which is a plus. But beyond that, yeah, I'm not.
They have Coho.
Yeah, they have Coho. But
and they have victimized. After that, it's just like all downhill. And I mean, Matt 4 for 4 as a free contract. I'm sorry, like that Islanders team did well last season with him on it, only because Sack and Karma were there. Like those are two guys that are worth the free contract. You know, generally speaking, for the most part, if your team doesn't have two guys that are worth free contracts, you're not going to be as good. Now, there have been some guys that, you know, have come into the league and surprised us, like Gilbsy a few seasons back,
right?
And like OG Loki. But OG Loki got one of the ground and pound guys to be his, you know, GM, who they were an up and coming team, right? Mm-hmm. Like here you have like Asinato. He's he's not worth the free contract. Oof. And then JC
like
Enterprise.
Asinato. I like him,
but there's just certain guys that aren't, mm-hmm. you know, worth the free
it's
contract.
It's not a character assassination. I just want to make that clear.
No. And I feel bad for Matt because he was trying his heart out to find guys that were worth it, and he got egoed. And, you know, unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Sometimes a lot of guys don't give these guys a chance. And then, again, with JC Enterprise, last time he was owner, his team wasn't very good. So him being in the management room,
his AHL team was really good. So
yeah, well, that's AHL. Like if he made the jump to NHL.
I'm just making a point. Anyways,
I know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, outside of Guan, Coho, and Victimize, I don't really know anybody else on this team.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's move on. Carolina in the B tier, but this was before everything went down.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a situation regarding the former owner of the team, and it was handled appropriately, in my opinion. Maybe the way... I'm not entirely familiar with the process of how it was handled, but I think the right decision was made.
Yes.
100%. And I've heard it was upgraded to a site ban, so he's done with
Correct.
LG, which I'm happy to see. And
I think that's what everybody wanted.
Yeah. So this is a difficult one because they were actually coming out of bidding. I think we praised them a lot. And you know, they went down a dark path. Not the whole team. You can't blame the whole team, but
no.
One player specifically went down a dark path, and you know, the right punishment was deserved. I hope that nobody gets involved with this guy in terms of second tagging going forward. I think whoever helps him should also get a site ban. I'll be completely honest with you. If he ever comes back, I was told that nobody, like I was having a casual discussion with one of my close friends on LG, and basically nobody's going to want to touch this guy. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Like, I'm pretty sure like after what we like the news and how the chat box reacted to the news, this guy's done. Like there's no one from the communities probably should play. No one should play with him, and I don't think they will.
And I just want to be like he's done. Like I can't believe we have this. Unfortunately, you know, there's going to be situations in the community, you know, like this, and it's not just, you know, specifically, you know, you think it can't be your community, but there's a lot of different communities that face like problems like this, like the Smash community, for instance. But you know, I think at the end of the day, the right decision was made, and yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the team more. You know, Tendy's now at the helm. They have a lot of players. official mark as GM. So that helps him a lot. Did that clear up 11? Yeah, that cleared up basically the whole cap. So they can bring in a big contract now. Maybe they target Guan off Calgary if things get worse.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Yeah, Carolina 4-5-1. I don't think they're like this was obviously This was set up before everything went down. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this?
I honestly think they lost they did lose a talent and a player skill wise, but at the end of the day, they still Tendy stepping up and taking owner, freeing up that or Mark whoever took GM, freeing up that 11 million cap. That's a really good move for them, and they can still have one of the better rosters in the Metro just because of their two guys that they have in management. I mean, Tendy's been there before. I know Mark hasn't done GM that much, but I think Tendy can definitely work with this. Like Class Act at $8 million, great contract. I think he's a good player. Their D man, their D is a little cheaper, but having Mark there definitely is going to help. They have one of the best goalies in the game. He's an absolute animal. I think he takes Adderall or something. He's weird, and he's very good. The Wall was very, very good.
We don't know if we should make those claims on the show, but that's a tough one.
Dude,
tough one. I don't think we should
I'm
go
just
that.
Telling you.
All right.
I'm just telling you. I've known Wall since NHL 10, and he's gross.
Mm-hmm.
He made some of the that's true, and he's also he made he uploaded a Twitch video the other day of him doing the Michigan 9 out of 10 times. Wow. He picked up the puck every single time. Mm-hmm. So he's got that down too, and he's a goalie. But damn. I think this team will still be one of the better teams in the Metro for sure.
Right. And just a message to everybody: don't be an idiot, as well.
Yeah. Don't
be an idiot. That's my general thoughts. Just it's not hard to be a good person, in my opinion. Is that a fair comment? I don't think I'm saying anything controversial, but it's not hard to be a good person, to be honest with you. You could be tough but fair. But it's not hard to be a good person. Anyways, let's move on. Got dark there for a little bit. Let's lighten things back up with an F tier. Chicago in the F tier. I don't exactly know what this roster is. This is a tough roster to look at, to be honest with you. This looks like... yeah, that's my comments on that. They're 1-5-3.
Yeah, that's about right.
Not great. Not great. What are your thoughts?
I don't even have any thoughts. I mean, this team's bad. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even want to break down the roster. Like,
it's just not.
It's not it.
Mm-hmm. 7.5 on Vinny. Oof.
But yeah, maybe they prove us wrong. I doubt it. But I think this team is going to finish last.
Yeah. It's
not pretty.
Yeah. This is a tough roster for sure. Anyways, let's move on. Colorado Avalanche, I have in the E tier as well. Again, I think there's pieces on this roster, but nothing overwhelming.
They just made a big trade.
Did they just get Risto
Yeah, they made a trade that they lost.
And that hurt him even more.
Yeah.
What was
I don't think they won that trade.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's go back and look at this trade a little bit.
I have
a feature. Hold on, we could take a hold on. I got a new feature on the show that I could use here. But anyways, you want to break down Chicago? Colorado. Will I get this trade up?
Sure. So the pieces that I do like, I do like Greggy at 500K. It's just his connection's pretty bad, so he can
really
spike. Yeah, when he's at school now, which is in oddly enough, he's in Colorado. So So he lags when he's out there. Because I had him on my team last season, and he would always get these spike lags for the first 2 weeks because he was at school, and then he came back home and his connection was perfect. And he's definitely I had him I think at 1.5 or maybe 2 mil, and he was worth the contract then. So getting him for 500K is definitely good, especially for next season in the summer season when he comes home and he's going to be on his home connection. That's a really great contract. I like Slimes him because I really didn't want to trade him when I traded him. He's definitely a good player. He could play anywhere, and he's also cheap. I mean, I re-signed him at 125, but I do like him. I've heard from an inside source with that trade that they did with Winnipeg that all three of the players they got from Winnipeg are very, very bad. I will not reveal my sources, but I heard all three of them are not very good, and I know they gave up a decent amount to get Risto, who I don't think is a very good defenseman either. So
here's the trades. I have it on screen.
You have it on screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So they gave up Doughty, who is definitely an expensive D-man on forward, and he's one of the. He is it is a bad contract for Doughty, but he's still better than the three players that Breezy got. And I think Jay Lucas is a solid player. So, I think Winnipeg, I think Twistify did a really good job with that trade and definitely won the trade, in my opinion.
For sure. Thanks for the bits, Luke.
I can't stop playing bullet chess now.
Luke and I played some bullet chess earlier. Anyways, bullet is the best kind of
Edmonton.
chess.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it was Edmonton, by the way.
Yeah,
anyways.
You know what I mean. Yeah, same thing.
Yep, for sure.
They suck.
See, I got that
E-tier's deserving.
See, I got that new graphic now. You see that? That's what
ooh.
Yeah. Upgrading, moving up in the world. Gotta compete, Gotta compete. Gotta compete with the non-existent LG media show.
I don't think you have any competition right now.
Well,
sir.
I gotta be my own competition, because or else I won't get better at this, right? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Oh, look at this. Columbus in the A tier. I said I was going to take this one. I said I would take this one.
This is all you because I don't want to comment.
All right. This is all me here. And you guys didn't start the best.
Nope.
Obviously. But I think it's a fluke. Hold on. I obviously messed up again because I X'd off the standings. So you guys started 3-5-1, right?
Correct.
But what I will say is promising for you is the fact that your line of your Suzuki / Sneakler line went 2-1, which is a third line. So I think that's really promising for you guys. Your big guys did not perform overly well. Your line 2-1, and then Sack's line 2-1. So obviously, if your third line's performing, I completely expect your two big lines to get going. When you look at your roster, it 3-5-1 does not represent what you guys are. You have a great contract there in Gilbsy. You brought in Sack. He brings Karma with him, and Karma's at a decent price at 8 mil. I think he won the Selke last season. Is that correct?
Sack did?
No. Was it the Lady Bing? Karma. Oh, yes, it was the Lady Bing, I believe. Karma won the Lady Bing, correct?
Yeah. Zach won the Selkie.
So you got two award winners there. They come back, and then you also bring in Wes at a really good deal. That's Mi Oi Hoi Minyoy. I actually have the whole. Hold on, I got the whole. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. We got that player in the mix. Your goaltending, a little unproven, I will say. A little bit concerning, the goaltending aspect, because they're unproven. Super, obviously, he won, I believe, the Baz last season in the A. You bring him up. Hockey Jet, he's a good goalie. He was on DP contract last season. But, he's unproven for this level. You got Deke on defense, not bad. Sneakler, he had a great season. He moves up. Cubs, I've seen him play. He's actually not bad at defense. So there's a lot to like on this team. I'm probably missing a few guys, but that's my analysis on Columbus. I actually studied for this one. What are your thoughts on my analysis?
I like your analysis. Yeah, I agree that our goalies are unproven, but the super thing, like he's really good friends with like the West, West's line, like Jordan West, and they play every night together. So that's, I mean, that's the reason we bid on him. Like he's good friends with us. So, and then other than that, your analysis I think was spot on. Obviously, like now to let everybody know, you sent me a finished draft of these rankings, and I pretty much said that I agree with them, except for a couple changes, which I think you made. So I think you did a really good job. And you did a really good job explaining our team. Hopefully, we can prove to be in the A tier. And it's weird because, like you said, our third line did go 2-1, which was the best out of either of our other two lines. Because we lost 2 games this week, and Sac obviously lost 3. They went 0-2-1, and that was the first time that either of our two lines have more than 1 loss in a week. Like dating back to last year, we only lost, the most we've ever lost in a week was 1. So as long as we can, perform like, as long as our lines can perform like we did last season, we should be proving of this A tier.
And bar down in the chat, this is for you.
You are fake news.
Anyways, I got my soundboard out. I'm not sure if you heard that one, but there you go, bar down. Get it together. Anyways, let's move on. We got Dallas in the S tier, the first S tier team. S tier team alert. Dallas, they obviously had to mix things up a bit, as their plan A didn't go according to plan. But overall, they built a really well-rounded roster. Instead of spending the 15 mil, they got a player like Gustav, great player. They got Jemima, really good player too. On defense, they had Sean. He's a really good player. Vane and net, they spread the wealth around a little bit better. And obviously, when you have free contracts like Hendry and Fisher, you're going to do well. And, Grizz is the worst forward on that roster. There's no doubt in my mind, and Grizz can tell you that. But he brings the brain to the table. We'll see if he gets greased this season like he did with Chicago a few seasons ago. What are your thoughts, Devin, on Dallas in the S tier?
I think that Lucas and Fisher did a really good job. I know their plan didn't come to fruition like they wanted. They obviously wanted Bernsey. I think that's the only part that they messed up on. Obviously, they told Bernsey they were going to get him, so that's why they went all the way to 14.75. But I think what a smarter decision would have been was to, once they found out, because they found out that it was Vegas bidding on them and they weren't going to stop, and Vegas had more money than them at like a relatively good price. I think Bernsey was still at 11 mil, maybe 11.5. Once you find out that you're in a bidding war with someone that has more money than you and they're willing to go up there, I think you stop, let Bernsey go for cheaper, and then trade for him in the future, which is, trading for a guy that's 15 mil is definitely going to be hard. I don't know if they're going to, try to do that, but that's besides the point. Looking at their roster now, I definitely, like you said, they have, really good players. And Lucas has always built very good regular season teams. It's just when it comes to playoffs, his teams seem to just fall apart in playoffs, which is very weird because his roster's always been sick. Even back with his Tampa Bay, teams with Blair, they were a very solid team, like one of the best teams in, the regular season. And then what happened? They lose in the playoffs. Last year with Chicago, one of the best teams in the league throughout the entire season. And then they just seem to, lose in I think they lost in the second round, I think. So he's just got to get over that hump of losing in the playoffs. But obviously, like I said, his team's going to be great throughout the entire season. It's going to be tough for any team to compete with him. That's why he's in the S tier. Definitely going to be one of the top teams in the West. So as long as he can, once he makes the playoffs, because he'll make the playoffs, there's no doubt about that. Once he gets there, he's just got to make sure that he can pull his team to the finish line.
Right. Grizz seeing this for the first time, by the way. I have not consulted Grizz on this list.
Oh, really?
I don't think I have, yes.
I don't know. Any team with Grizz goal is doomed, though,
Yep. Anyways. Detroit in the B tier. Detroit coming off Eastern Conference Finals appearance last season. They're back. 4-4-1 to start. Maybe not the hottest start, but they have a lot of returning pieces. from last year's team. I actually had them lower. I was told to move them up. But I think this is more out of respect for their run last season and their ability to figure it out. So we have them in the B tier. What are your thoughts, Devin? Go ahead.
You had them in the C tier?
I did.
I tend to agree with you on that. I mean, I get, like you said. I get
I'm getting roasted already.
Listen,
man.
No. I get that it's out of respect of what they did last season.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely had an incredible run, but I don't know. Like besides Lemlin, I don't like. Obviously, Cosmic is good. Like I believe that if their line's Cosmic, OFs, and Crispy, that's obviously a really talented first line. But then after that, like their forwards are not the best. I think they took a step back from what they had last season. Ice Cream Truck or Meta Truck, he's obviously solid. And they got Lemon, like I said, but other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the roster. So I think they took a step back from what they had last season. Maybe they'll prove me wrong and go on another run again. I mean, they should make the playoffs. I think they will make the playoffs. It's just, I think they might make it as they're going to be fighting for the playoff spot, I think. So.
All right. Anyways, this is going to be, oh man, this is going to be my most rough tier list. I could tell just by the chat. Just by the chat, I can already tell this is going to go downhill quickly. Anyways, Edmonton in the B tier. Twist probably won't be happy with me on this one. I'll let you know what. This is gonna probably be my final show. Pretty much. I think I'll be roasted alive after this.
Final show.
I think I'll be roasted alive after this one. But I got them in the B tier. They just added Doughty to the roster into the mix. They got Drama on a great deal. The guy won 20 games last season. They got Mateer, great player. A lot to like. They still need a little bit of more improvement on defense, in my opinion. But Twist will figure it out. What are your thoughts, Devin?
I agree. B tier is good for Edmonton. They have Iggy in net, so they should be in F tier because Iggy sucks. But that's just my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. I like B tier. B tier is definitely fair for Edmonton. Twist, like I said, he just made a really good trade. So that definitely bolstered his roster, and his team gotten better. But I agree. I think B tier is definitely a fine fit for them. Like Drama, I think is on a really good contract. I've had Drama, and for $3 million, he's sick. Mm-hmm. So that's a good contract for Twist. Doughty, again, I already said what I said about Doughty. Like obviously, 825 on D, that'd be excellent contract. Him at forward is. Mateer has really good thumbs. I just hear he doesn't pass. So, but he has that ping.
Yeah.
So he has that ping advantage over everybody.
Right.
But I do like the roster. I think they'll do very well.
All right, let's move on. I could just tell the way the chat's going right now. It ain't good.
I can't wait till we get to a certain team.
It ain't good for good old Swifter over here. It ain't looking good.
When we get to a certain team, somebody in the chat's going to freak out. I just want to let them know I had no input on their position.
All right. Well, this is already rough. Anyways, this is not going well. Florida, we have in the F tier. I don't think there's a debate. That's it. I don't think. Do we need to spend time on this or?
Not at all. You can move on.
Yeah, I don't think this is a debate here at all.
Just move on.
The Kings in the E tier. I don't know. This season with Sweet Lou, it's been rough. I don't know what's going on with Sweet Lou, but his organization right now, he needs to get it in line. His AHL team has no management. I'm not sure if anybody in the NHL knows that he does not have management for his AHL organization. And he botched some re-signings.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on over there. He's a respectable manager. I don't necessarily love his team. You got A. Huff, who's a really good player. That's Moza John. I like him a lot. He actually carried me to an SMP win. I'm not sure if anybody knows that.
Oh, snap.
It was all him. Like, he was the best. He's an incredible. Everybody knows that, but But other than that, man, this is concerning. I don't know what's going on with Lou and the boys. What are your thoughts, Devin?
Well, that's the thing. He lost his one of the best third lines in the league because he botched those re-signs, right? Like that third line last season was actually very good. And he replaces them with SJU Soccer and Lundy, again, a bunch of old gen guys. Like we saw how soccer season went last season. Not very good. I mean, again, he has a bunch of old gen guys. Like if you look at his AHL team, like you said, they have no management. But again, it looks like his AHL team's built with like ex-NHLers from NHL 11. So, and I don't know what Lou's doing, and no one knows what Lou's doing. Like we asked him in the managers chat, like, is he just going to be the
doing?
I guess I don't know. Like we asked him in the managers chat if he's just going to run both teams, like be the first owner to run both teams, and he really didn't give me an answer. So I have no idea. Lou's going to do Lou things. Like, no one knows what Lou's doing.
Yeah. Anyways, this is it's one of my bounce back candidates, but Lou doesn't know what Lou's doing at the moment, so they got to come up with a plan. Anyways, here it is.
Here we go.
Minnesota in the C tier. Not happy already. I can tell Dangs is already upset. He was upset way before, but again, I think he's done a better job than what he's had in the past. Moving on up in the world, 5-4-0 to start. Maybe not the best start, but not his worst start. Last season, he was kind of battling around before fading and selling off. This season, he has a better chance at competing for a playoff spot. His roster's a lot better than it was last season. I always said there was not a guy that he had last season. This season, he has multiple. With Arctic Blur and Nuge. Apparently, according to Bar Down, I'm not a Nuge fan, which is just categorically false. But, yeah. Minnesota C tier. Devin, tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead.
So we're going off of like Dang's track record as an owner on Xbox. This is actually very fair. It's generous.
What the hell? What do you mean? What's going on? Oh my God, I'm done. I'm just gonna mute myself. You can talk. I don't even want to hear it from anybody in the chat. Go ahead.
I mean, Dangs hasn't had the best teams on Xbox. Like that's just a fact. His team was bad last year. I agree with you. I do like his team a lot this year. Like, I think he definitely has some solid pieces this year. I mean, even his GM. His GM won't go, emo mode and not show up to games like his last GM did. I think he has a really good contract in Blur. I mean, they have my boy Frank Z Tank, who they stole from my AHL.
Yeah.
And
we got that's bringing up some memories for you.
Yeah, we got that rule changed this season.
No.
Wish it was changed last season.
Oh man.
They got the C-Word. They got C-Word, who I had on my team. He's a great guy. He plays the game a lot. He's a grinder. I think he has more time on the game than anybody I really know. And they have his line mate, King Safi. So, they should be good. And they obviously have the Ryan and Taze connection. So, I'm assuming Wavy Nana centers them. I'm not too sure. But I agree with you. I like their team. I think this rating's fair. I really like Denny Denisov. He's a really good goalie. I think he's worth the price. So, I mean, it's better than where you originally had them. I agree with this. C tier is definitely appropriate.
There you go. Fair rating here. One of the only fair ratings we've had, apparently. But anyways, let's move on because we gotta move past this. Montreal in the B tier. Montreal I like a lot. Actually. Some of their lesser known guys I like. I like LOL. These aren't lesser known guys, but I'm gonna start LOL, CT, and Briere. Really, really good players. Up front, I like Cooch. He came up from the AHL. I like him a lot. Shocks, obviously, really good player. Ringy as well. They have a lot of studs. This is a team that I could see this is a team I can easily see getting up into the A tier as the season goes along. Even maybe S. I think they have potential. They have the most potential to rise. I like them a lot, and I have them in the B tier at the moment. Go ahead.
I agree. I think they're one or two.
Sorry to cut you off. Shocks, that was me. Go ahead. Sorry. I don't want you to get thrown under the bus. Go ahead, though.
Oh, what happened?
Shock's in the chat saying Devin putting his team over ours is cap. No, this is Schwifty7. You can look me up. You can add me on Discord. Schwifty7 hashtag 9986. There you go. If you got a problem, you can send it to me. Don't shame my guest here. I'll take the bullets. If I'm in the wrong, you make a forum post about me. Anyways, go ahead.
No, obviously, like, most of their roster are like my ESHL teammates. Like, I util for HP, so that's, Shock, CT, Duck, and Briere. Like, we're good friends and stuff, and it's just all friendly banter. But I do agree with you. I think this team, they built a very, very good team. I think they have two solid lines that'll beat any other team's lines. I think they just got to figure out a few things maybe for that third line. There's a couple contracts that like I said, they're one or two moves away from definitely being an A or even S tier team, like you said. I think, like I said, there's a couple things that they can do. I won't, I won't publicly shame any of their bad players on the roster because I don't want to be that guy. But I agree, they definitely can be and probably will be an A or S tier team when the season's all said and done. Like, Shocks is looking to have a bounce back season from last season. So is CT. They're hungry. They got their center that they wanted. They got Duck, very good player. And then you obviously got Briere, LOL, and Ringy on that second line. Just like each line has very good players.
Right.
So they're definitely going to be a very good team, a tough team. I feel bad for the people in the Atlantic.
By the way, if you want to come on the show, like, I only have a handful of guys that are really committed, Devin being one of them. Twist another, Burnsy, Bar Down. I have I'd like to get more people on the show. Grizz obviously is a staple, but I'd like to get more guests. So, there's a lot of reaction here. You can bring it on the show. I'm okay with that. If you want to come on the show next week, I already know we got Heroism potentially coming on next week, depending on, I haven't talked to him directly, but I've heard he wants to come on. The more, I want to get you guys involved too. I want this to be a community show. And if you got feedback on the tier list too, man, I would love to involve you guys. Like, I ask the guys I'm comfortable with because I like only a few people have approached. But if you want to get involved, hey, once again, I think Fly posted the Discord. Feel free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Swifty said, he was the one that messaged me this morning at 9:50, asking me if I could look over the rough draft of his tier list. Yeah. And I looked over it, and like I said, I agree with pretty much most of it. I think I made like 2 or 3 changes, if that. Like I said, I would do this. Other than that, but yeah, no, I think they did a very good job on their tier list. Just like based off of performances last season. Like, obviously,
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll address Grizz after. Go ahead. I'll address that, man.
I was gonna say, like, obviously everybody's upset because they think I put my team in A tier.
No, that was me.
Yeah, but Swifty wasn't, and then the thing is, Swifty wasn't the only one like out of bidding that said that we had a good team. Like, on paper, we should have a good roster. Like, obviously, last season was just, I want to say it was a fluke. Like, normally I have a good track record as an owner. I made the Cup Finals just a couple seasons ago. I've always been, one of the better teams. But like I said, I want to prove to everybody that I should be in the A tier.
Right. This is a prove you wrong kind of show. And Grizz, I didn't ask you because you said you were busy from Wednesday to Sunday. So I let you have your personal day there, Grizz. I let you have your personal days. That is why I didn't ask. I didn't want to be a disturbance. You help with the show a lot. I thought, your time off here, Grizz, I think it's valuable. You take it. You're with your buddies. You're taking your personal days. So I let you have it. Nah, but you're with your buddy though, so I let you have it. Oh, okay. Well, now the narrative is being twisted on me here, but anyways, let's move on from Montreal. We got a lot still to cover. Mikey Scott, my buddy, my personal friend, Mike Scott. I'm not personal friends with him, but I like the guy. Anyways,
I asked him to be on the show.
Really? Okay. He won't. I don't know. He doesn't come on the show.
He said he wasn't going to be home till 10 or 11, or he would have done it.
I got Mike Scott in the A tier, and I don't care what anybody says at this point. Mike Scott deserves the A tier at this point. Dangs, it's me. You have to ask me, not Devin. It's my show. What the hell? Anyways, this is off the rails. Oh, my God. There's a narrative around this show. I don't know. My guest is getting blamed for everything.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't care.
I'll take the bullets.
It's fine.
It's my fault. Anyways, this is going to be a great VOD. Nashville, obviously A tier. They deserve to be in the A tier after what they accomplished last season, and I'm not going to disrespect them any further. They have a good team. They have their big guns back, and they're primed and ready to go again and prove everybody wrong. I think Mike will be happy with this, and I'm done doubting Nashville. This is not a Nashville Predator hating program. So, anyways, what are your thoughts on this, Devin?
What was their record this week?
They're in first right now in the West Central, 6-2-1.
Okay, yeah. They're pretty much picking up where they left off. Like you said, they have their big forward line back, Zarvek, Greggy, and Pibonk, but I don't think they play with Terry anymore. I think they kind of split up, so that makes their team. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they play with Focus because that's their. Yeah, so which makes them even more dangerous because now that Terry and Ducharlo are playing on a different line, obviously a pretty good LG defense pairing, and then you add Focus who plays with Pibonk and Greggy and Zarvek sometimes. So again, they're like I said, they're definitely he's deserving of this A tier. And another guy that needs to get credit is the Young Buck. He's had some very good stats.
Yeah, Young Buck promoted the show today, by the way. Thank you, Young Buck.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, last season, he went 19-8-1 with an 81 save percentage and 1.9 goals against average. And what is he doing this season? He has an 80 save percentage, 1.92 goals against average. So if they can get that performance out of their quote unquote backup, obviously Tiny's their starter. They spent the big money on Tiny, who again had a very good season on Tampa Bay last season. So they have two very good goaltenders.
Yep.
I get they're definitely deserving of this A tier.
Yep. There you go. Mike Scott gets his flowers. There you go. Let's move on.
I agree. Love me some Mike Scott. What's so funny?
New Jersey in the F tier.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Can we just skip them? Unless you got something to say.
This is a rough-looking roster.
Yeah. Do you think this team would compete in the AHL?
Yes. Yes.
You think so?
I do a lot differently. But they have the makings of a playoff team. But it will be hard.
They also have a lot.
I don't know. This team's gonna. I don't know why. No offense to Game 7W, but the guy I believe got waived to the CHL a few seasons ago.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
And I believe, don't quote me on that. Actually, I'll just do some research. But I don't know why he wanted to take NHL management out of all places. I think, yeah, here it is. Okay, so the Wolves have earned the rights to Game 7W 500K Season 36. One season deal. Got traded to the Monsters, placed on waivers, cleared to the Rangers.
Nice.
I don't understand why he wouldn't want to manage an AHL team first, and then if you have success, you move up like a Mike Scott. But I don't know. This is baffling.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got him in the F tier. I don't think there's much else to add. Let's move on. The Islanders we have in the D tier. The Islanders actually are in first place, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, A1 Freak, shocking the world, is in first place. 7-2 to start, 14 points. But I don't know how this is happening. Coop is leading the league in scoring. I don't understand their start. A1 Freak is the kind of guy on the that just throws curveballs for the show. Like in the draft, he said, we're going to pick the best player available. Then he goes off and picks a random player that we never heard of. He said, Gulag Gary TV or whatever. Like, we don't know. A1 Freak is that kind of guy that I don't exactly know what to expect. So the D tier, I have him there right now out of respect for the record and the start. But other than that, I don't even know, man. I'll let you dissect the roster, Devin. Go ahead.
I think they're in the same boat as Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to keep this pace up.
No chance.
I mean, just looking at the games they've played, again, a lot of teams' third lines. Like, their record was what, 7-2?
Mm-hmm.
So their 2 losses are to the Stiffmeister line in Ottawa, and then whatever this New Jersey Devil line is that I'm looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, their 7 wins just seem like all third line games. Like they beat my team. I mean, kudos to them because they gave my third line their only loss of the week, and it was a pretty convincing win for them. Like, I think they beat our third line 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, outside of that, I don't think they're going to keep pace. They played nothing but third lines this week. So, I mean, you give any of these other top teams, like, any team from C tier and above, all third lines, they're going to have 7-2 weeks, 9-0 weeks, 8-1 weeks. It's just going to happen.
Yep. Anyways, let's move on. The New York Rangers in the A tier. I really like this team. Led by Rocket. Free according to Grizz from Loki's shackles. He didn't say that, but I think he'd agree with that statement. I'm in the organization, so I should watch it. Oh, well, Grizz, he agrees with it, so there you go. They bring in Gabse as the free contract. They add a lot of good pieces. Levechkin, Lorenzo being a top player. They went out and they got Grimm. I like Crazy Joe as well. They have a lot of good pieces all around. Owls is an interesting player, as he was the top goalie picked. I think he was 14th overall.
We had him on our radar.
Yeah. He's a promising pick. I like this team a lot. This team has potential for S tier too. What are your thoughts, Devin? Go ahead.
Very, very good team. I know Rocket can take some things to heart, especially when guys were putting my team ahead of his. He was like, throwing some backhanded comments, but nonetheless, his team's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously him and Gabbis as management, very good.
Is it Gabbis or Gabse?
Gabs. I don't know. I just know he's good.
Okay, because okay, go ahead.
We actually faced them week 1. My line did. They gave us a 3-2 loss. They scored with 5 seconds left to win the game. But I feel as though we played their Game 7 line too. Is pretty much Rocket, Grimm, Gabze, and Dimitri on D. So, and it was just, it was my line. So it was a very even game. I don't think one team outplayed the other. I think, we both got some questionable goals, and, they ended up coming out on top. But again, they're a very good team. Very tough to contain, especially. I'm the only thing I'm not a fan of is if Rocket and Gabze are going to play together, I would prefer them to put Gabze in his actual position. Like, I don't think he's a bad center, but he's such a dominant winger, and he's so hard to contain as a defenseman. You should just have him play his normal position at left wing, and if they do that and they find a center that fits their style, I think all they need is a defensive center. Then this team would be very tough. That line will be very tough to beat, pretty much impossible to beat, because of how Rocket's probably one of the best. Rocket is the best player that LG has ever seen. Best. He always puts up points.
Wow.
No matter what team he's on.
You just hold on. You just said Gilly was up there, and now you're going Rocket.
I said Gilly. No, listen.
Hold up.
I said Gilly's one of the best players in this game. Rocket's one of the best players LG has ever seen. There's a difference. Rocket's also still one of the top players in the game too. Don't get me wrong. He's obviously on one of the better teams. Okay. But just as LG wise, like if you look at the points leaders, Rocket's always top 5.
Right.
Look at the goals leaders. Rocket's probably always top 5. You know,
Mhm.
It's always Rocket. No matter what team he's on, he's always up there now since he's emerged. A couple seasons ago.
Right.
He's just a very good player, and I do like this A-tier pick. Honestly, they probably should be an S-tier team, but
Wow.
they're newer to management this couple seasons, so we'll see how this goes. I don't think Rocket has managed for a few seasons now, so we'll see how this goes. You know, he's a newer owner.
Yeah. By the way, there's going to be corrections to the tier list. This isn't a permanent tier list. Obviously, mid-season we'll correct it if we, we're definitely going to get things wrong
here. Mid-season show, right?
We'll see. No, okay. If you want to be back, you can come back. No problem.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I'm just messing. Yeah, I didn't know. Somebody said Gabse is Rio. I remember, dude. I actually know this player back in the day because I'm a CHL historian. He was extremely dominant on Calgary back in the day. If this is Rio, somebody said Rio, right? Yeah, man. Oh, he was completely dominant on that season 27 Calgary team. And I'm going back just looking at the roster. Just I know this is a side thing and it's not really relevant. But man, this team was loaded. Oh my lord. I don't think they won the Mem, but man, they probably should have. Whew. Anyways. Let's move on.
Okay.
Damn. Let's move on. I would love this roster in the CHL. I'm just looking at it. Oh, my lord. Anyways. Let's move on.
He had 122 points that season.
Yeah, man. Oh, my lord. He's up there in points all time, probably single season. I think Bar Down has more, but he's in the chat. But anyways, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Anyways, Ottawa B tier. Stiffmeister leading the way again. They have a good, well-rounded team again. Some different looks. Dumoulin at 11. That's a lot. But Ottawa last season, they got off to an incredibly hot start. And I think the new server rules kind of,
Yeah, it messed them out. It screwed them up.
It screwed them up. And they're still battling for what exactly they are. So we have them. Well, I have them, but I guess I'll place all the rankings on top of me as the human shield.
It's okay. I don't mind. It's fine.
We have them in the B tier, and they started 6-3-0, so not a bad start for Ottawa. What are your thoughts, Devin?
Yeah, I mean they're the same. They're pretty much like the same team as last season. I don't think Stiff really does. He's kind of like a do-nothing owner. It's Dubs that's running the show, and Dubs always puts together pretty solid squads. And yeah, I know. I like the roster the same as last season. I know they had problems with goaltending, to say the least, for their 3 losses.
Yeah.
Because all 3 of their losses were pretty sure their third line got outscored 16-4 in 3 games or something like that. I don't know. Pat obviously got waived, and they called up Primo, who's my threes goalie in the I3s league. So and he's pretty solid. He makes some good saves. So they definitely got an upgrade there. Sorry, Pat. I think they definitely did well in bidding, and if they can figure out their third line, if their third line can squeak out 1 or maybe 2 wins a week, this team's going to be set to be another dominant regular season team. They just got to pull it together in the playoffs.
Right. Anyways, let's move on. Philadelphia in the D tier. Not the best start for Philly. 2-4-3. What I will say they have going for them is they got ground and pound. I don't think they're ground and pound anymore. What's their actual team name?
No idea.
Delta Slaves.
I thought they were still ground and pound.
I don't think they're ground and pound anymore. Actually, Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
They are. Oh no, they're still ground and pound. Well, that just happened. Anyways, I like this roster more than the teams below. I think they started rough. I think the acquisition of Glex is a good one. It'll help their defense. I think this team has potential definitely to turn it around, but they're going to be battling for sure to get back into the race after a slow start. and I think D tier is a good place for him. What's your thoughts?
I agree. They they started, what were they, 2-4-3, I think. Yeah, 2-4-3.
Mm-hmm.
Their ground and pound line went 1-1-1. They need that ground and pound line to pretty much average almost 3 wins a week for them to kind of compete. Like I said, and they need their third line to at least win 1 game a week too.
Mm-hmm.
If they can do that, then yeah, they can definitely battle. But they need that ground and pound line definitely needs to carry the team, as they should. That's their best line.
Mm-hmm.
So if that ground and pound team doesn't perform like they should, then this team is in definitely a world of hurt unless they make some different moves.
Yep, for sure. Anyways, let's move on. Pittsburgh in the C tier. I like their roster better than what they had last season. So I actually like their chances better. I had a fighting back and forth between B and C here. I settled on C with some of the feedback. John Bree, 13.5. Grizz probably thinks his season's ruined with that number. He can comment on that in the chat here. But overall, when you got players like Bodie and Kovalchuk, you're always going to be in the mix. They got Forbes in at 5.5, which isn't bad. Or is it? I'm not sure. I think it's fair. Would you say?
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. Fairish. I mean, maybe a little cheaper, but.
Anyways, Grizz saying his season is ruined. He agreed. I just know Grizz thoughts. He's just psychically sending them to me. Anyways, what's your thoughts on Pittsburgh? Go ahead.
My thoughts on Pittsburgh is I think this team can be a very good team. It all depends on what Kovalchuk and Bodie do. If Bodie goes back into his old ways of playing, scrub hunting like he used to. He's a wonder. He used to take himself out of games and put himself in easier games. It looks like so far this season, in the first week, he's played 2 solid lines and 1 mad line. But that's what I like to see. I like to see the team's top line play other teams' good lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's like generally how teams, do well.
Mm-hmm.
If your top line plays other teams' good lines and your line wins, that just sets your other lines up for easier games throughout the week, and your team's going to do well. So honestly, I think they can be very good. It all depends. Like I said, it all depends on how Kovalchuk and Bodie attack this season. The one thing I think that they have a guy on their team that I do not like. I don't think he's very good, and that's their goalie. But me and Ice don't get along, and I won't go into too much detail. But yeah, that guy's something else. So he can get sniped pretty easily. He lets in slap shots from the blue line. Okay.
I don't know. Okay, you gotta just maybe not said that, but okay. Let's move on. Okay, here we go. San Jose S tier. I think I got this one right.
Yep.
I don't think there's any debate. They're the Cup champs, and they deserve their respect. And I respect the hell out of them now. Last season, I kept picking against them. And they just kept proving me wrong. Hater. I was a hater, apparently. I was a hater. But, you look at the team. They have all their big pieces returning minus Guan.
Which is a really big piece, by the way.
Which is a huge piece, yes.
Because anytime Guan plays defense and he's management, he wins a cup.
Right.
So they don't have that.
Mm-hmm. But they bring in a lot. They bring in Bar down. Obviously, he was up there in Norris Trophy. It's not obvious. You can't replace Guam, but Bar down's a good piece to have on the team. By the way, can you explain who's lying Hillary? Am I
Poland's finest.
Oh, right. Anyways, what are your thoughts on San Jose S tier? Go ahead.
Defending champions, they deserve to be there. They have a very good roster,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best rosters on paper.
Right.
Like you said, it's very hard. Like we said, it's very hard to replace Guan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did a very good job in getting the pieces to do it. I think they have one of the deepest forward core. Like because Jakku's always good about spreading out his talent too. So like you won't find Jakku and Trevor playing together too much unless they absolutely have to. So he can do a number of line combinations.
Right.
So I think they're going to be a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely going to compete. They're going to be top 3 in the West. So
wow. Anyways, Guan is E tier now. Shitter. No, Guan's
who said
not.
that?
Pandorado, I think his name is.
Oh.
No, Guan is not E tier. His
Yeah,
team
no, Sharks are a wagon, as Jordan said. They are definitely a wagon.
Yes, sir. By the way, I could do. This is gonna be great. I could do a top 10 at each position in the LGHL. Not in the game. Just the LGHL. I could do a potential top 10 list. That would be great.
Can I just say something about Farfadet? He must have missed it. I did say that Bodie and Kovalchuk actually played good lines this week, and I was praising them for that. You were here for that, Swifty. You can back me up on that.
Yep, no, I did hear
that.
He
said, look at Bodie's game this week, won against Marcos and Toppy's line. I said, I looked at it, and I said I was very impressed. They played very good lines, and they won. Right. That Marco line beat my line 5-1.
Just talked about the strategy and how they wanted to attack it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I could do a top 10 at each position, and then people will lose their mind. I think
top 10 at each position for LG?
For LGHL. Just the LGHL, not the whole game, because that's
okay.
That is a wide net to cast.
You have me as the number 1 center, right?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Okay. I'm joking.
I just
I'd put myself at 9.
That would be top 10 each position. That'd be
fun to help you with.
Yeah, I would make a list and send that list around to everybody I know and make sure I get it right, because that's something you don't want to get wrong, because they left Jones off the All-Star team and people lost their mind. That's correct.
I made the All-Star team. Woo.
For Caps, right?
Oh, no.
No, for Caps Gaming, I believe. Didn't they leave him off or something?
I think so, but I know my boy Heroic Duck made the All-Star team for Caps Gaming. Go Duck.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Seattle in the S tier. I know Heroism was saying we should be in the GOAT tier. There you go. You are in the GOAT tier. Last season I had no S tier teams, and I think these teams have really emerged as from rolling over from last season. This is mostly Florida from last season. They deserve to be up there, the 3, I believe, regardless of what Grizz says about his own team. I do think Dallas is an S-tier team. I don't really care about the opinion. But Seattle, they bring a lot back, and they look like a wagon again. They have some position changes, like Luigi moving up front and Heroism moving back. And by the way, I am absolutely stunned about the way bidding went and how Luigi only got 3.5. You saw Guan change positions and he gets 11. So that's an interesting thing, just a little nugget there. But, they have a really good team, and I think they're primed for another run. What are your thoughts, Devin? Go ahead.
I agree with you. They definitely their forward core is absolutely unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Their D core could cost them games outside of Heroism. Heroism's still he's very good on
deep. He's a game
deep.
breaker. Yeah.
Yeah. He's very good on deep. But outside of that, they have Hufu and Unique Sniper. Unique's
right.
My boy.
Yep.
I think those guys, they're definitely, decent players. They're pretty good, but that's the one thing that could be the downfall of this team is their D core.
Yeah.
So maybe in the near future, I think Ray on a $500K contract is actually very good.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe down the line they make one more move to get another defenseman in there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I agree. This team definitely deserves to be an S tier. It's just their defense could make or break them.
Mm-hmm.
Come playoff time, that is. Regular season doesn't matter as much. You can definitely get away with having weaker defensemen during the regular season because line matching isn't really a thing. But once it comes to playoffs and line matching matters, that's when you can see your defense, win or lose you a series.
Right. Still time to improve. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis in the C tier. I think they have some really good pieces. Nicky Moose returns on his DP deal. Statsny, they got him bidding. He usually wins straight up. I believe it's the Lady Bing, correct? He's usually a winner of that award. They have players, nothing too overly significant. They got vaporized at 10 mil. But I feel like they're going to be in the mix, fighting for a spot here by the end of it. How did they start again? I always seem to close the window where the standings is open, as a complete failure on my behalf. They started 4-3-1. No, wait. Yeah, no, 4-3-2. They started 4-3-2. Not bad. I think they'll be in the mix by the end of it. What is your thoughts here, Devin? Go ahead.
I agree with you. Like their big contract is Vaporize on D, who just joined a new ESHL team. He is now with BBB and all those boys. He's their new starting right D. Yeah, they announced it on Twitter. 16 minutes ago.
I gotta start following all these big. I gotta start. Somebody's got to send me a list of all the big esports teams to follow, because I want to start getting better at that, to be honest with you. I want to start learning the esports scene.
Yeah, no, they just announced it on Twitter 16 minutes ago, but a lot of the guys that are in, the esports scene that are in the top teams, they knew this was coming. Like me and my friends, we've heard about it on HP. We knew it was coming, but that's besides the point. Let's go back to LG. I do like their roster. I think they're definitely a team that could, be in that wild card spot. That's where we have them at C, a C tier team. I do like Nicky Moose. I think Nicky Moose is a solid sixes player. He's obviously a very good threes player, but
Nicky Moose is gross.
Yeah, he's obviously a solid sixes player. Mm-hmm. I think him and Hobbs are, they have that chemistry. They play together, so that's going to be pretty good. Yeah, no, they can definitely have a pretty solid team.
Right.
We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah. If somebody wants to help me with the esports scene, though, feel free. I might do shows on esports, the next big tournament. Is there anything lined up coming up, or is...
No one knows.
No one knows.
Mm-mm.
I'll do my studying, and I'll make shows, for sure, if, I'm allowed. I think I would be allowed, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. LG's announcing it in the next 2-3 weeks. I know Grizz talked about potentially doing something with esports. So, I think that'd be fun. Let's move on.
Apparently there's drama in St. Louis, soon to be E-tier.
Oof. I guess we'll see come the mid-season rankings. Tampa Bay in the C tier as well. They started really well, actually, Tampa Bay. They started 6-3, so not bad for them. There's a lot there that could use improving. I think they'll be battling it out for the wild card spot, come playoff time. But, I think they could use some improvement on the team. There's a lot of chem there from what I see. But, we got them in the C tier. What are your thoughts, Devin?
This is obviously not the same Tampa from last season. This is, not the powerhouse that we're accustomed to. Actually, Tampa over the last few seasons have been pretty much a powerhouse team. But I just find it weird that these guys were pretty much raving about, Philip Zadina or whatever, the number one pick, how he's like very good, good thumbs, but they haven't called him up yet. He's in the AHL still. So I don't know what their plans are there, like why they haven't called him up. If they said he's, if he's as good as a player as they said he is, that's a little confusing. I do like Zilla. I do like Barks. Ethan's pretty good. That's a good contract, $5 million. Like I said, they have solid pieces.
Yep.
Definitely a team that's going to be battling out
right
for a wild card spot. I just don't know what JD has in get muted. I don't know what he's thinking there with his number one draft pick.
Oof.
So.
Philip Zadina?
Yeah, he was drafted number one, and he's still in the AHL, I believe.
Wow, is he in the A? Is he playing for that team, or is he on TC?
I think he's in the A.
We're about to find
Could be
out
wrong.
right now. We're about to find out right at this very moment in time.
What's that? The Syracuse Crunch, right?
Yeah, Syracuse. He is not on roster.
Oh, he's on the TC. Even wow.
Yeah, he's
okay.
on TC right now at $2 million, just sitting there.
That's interesting.
The Wood
Never
Cup,
seen that before.
The Wood Cup presented by Grizz. That is, Grizz is sponsoring the event. Ha.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
I don't think I've ever heard of a number 1 draft pick sitting in the TC. At least let the kid play in the A.
Right. There's a lot that could have potentially went 1. They picked Philip Zadina because he plays the style, but they may have not liked his gameplay.
I mean, I know he plays in the draft discords a lot. Like, he's always, like, humming around. But, and look, he's not even playing in the C, apparently. The kid's not playing at all. What's he doing? Just sitting there?
Right.
That's weird.
Didn't the Rapids go 1-2 and played AHL, not NHL? The Rapids, I can get you an answer on that. But they changed their gamer tag, and right now one's in the CHL. They both are in CHL. I can get you an answer on that right now. Nah, they went like 8th. Season 31 draft. So I'd have to go back and take a look at some draft history. I'll do that during the next one. Toronto Maple Leafs in the B tier. Look, this one's going to be hard to justify considering their start. Not the best start. I believe 2-7. Look, this is more of a respect tier here. I respect the Toronto Maple Leafs. I respect Rip. I respect Espas and Odie. This is a respect move here. I think they'll turn it around. They have pieces on the roster. They I like the Fog addition. I like Dezo, Woody. I think they have a good team. I think they made some maybe not great choices in terms of their bidding. But this is a respect move. There's no way Toronto's going to be this bad going forward. I think they'll rise back up and go B tier. They did upset Tampa Bay last season. I just don't see this 2-7 being what they are. Anyways, what is your thoughts?
I agree with you.
Devin,
I agree with you. They have some bad losses, especially that Rip line. Like that Rip line lost to this Florida line, which they shouldn't have lost to. Like it's Rip, Bass, Yuri, and H-Riz, and they have Perry and Net, who obviously everybody was raving about Perry because he was unbelievable. He had unbelievable stats in the AHL, and like he should have been in the NHL sooner than. I feel bad for Broomball of what happened to him, but let's not talk about that now. But there's no way this team.
Broomball? What are you talking about, Broomball? What do you mean?
Remember what happened to him last season with
with the Perrys? It's Broomball. Relax.
The Perry situation?
It's Broomball.
But,
go ahead.
Yeah, but no, this team 2-7's a bad start. They're definitely going to turn it around. Like Rip's always had playoff contenders. Like he's gonna make the playoffs. We know that. Like this team will turn it around, and they'll definitely be a solid team.
Mm-hmm. By the way, just to follow up on the Rapid situation, one went 8th and one went 17th. So they didn't go 1-2. The number 1 pick in this draft, Ka Too Good. Is it K Too Good? Is it Ka?
K-A Too Good.
K-A
Too Good.
Yes, yeah. Well, Ka Too Good. Well, that's what I'm going with. Zarkev went 2. Mose went 3. Ahuff. Just a couple of other names. Drama went 11th. This is an interesting draft. Fost 15th. Some names there. Is there any big one that went high, that went lower? I'm not. Not really. Anyways, that's just this draft here. Vinny, the $7 million man, went 79th, which is tough. Yeah. Anyways, that's a look back in draft history. Anyways, I love Swifty ADD moments. Well, I'm just doing a couple follow-up, Anyways, let's move on.
Moving on.
Vancouver Canucks in the C tier as well. I think I always pivot away from the actual page I need open with the record,
Nice.
but they started 5-4-0. I think this team's decent enough to compete for a spot. I remember a couple seasons back, Hatch with Edmonton made his way into the playoffs. I believe he'll be fighting around again for his spot in the playoffs, but I think C tier is exactly where they belong. What is your thoughts, Devin?
I agree. No, yeah, C tier is where they belong. I actually think Sedgy at 500K, kind of interesting, because I think he is definitely an NHLer, and I think he should be more than 500K.
There you go.
So that's a great contract. I'm surprised he only got a 1-season deal. Honestly,
Got to re-sign though.
Yeah, I got to re-sign, but if I don't know, maybe like a 2, maybe a 3. But no, this team definitely can hang around. They have some veteran players. They got Petey Mac. What a guy he is. They, the one season that they had success is when they had that West line that won all the time. That's back when Daddy Rides Bike had Tarasenko and all them. But I agree. I like some of their pieces. I think they can definitely. They have Husky in net. I just saw that. He's a good goalie. I love me some Husky. So yeah, this team could definitely compete for a wild card spot.
Anyways, let's move on to Vegas in the C tier. This is more of, I don't know. I know Grizz is auto F tier for Vegas here, but if you look at the roster, they actually have a lot of talent. Their defense obviously is very suspicious. I think their goaltending's fine, but obviously there's some issues internally, with the whole Burnsy situation, and
yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to comment further on my own team, but you can go ahead here, Devin.
that I'm actually friends with Loki now. Me and him started off on the wrong foot, but I didn't like what he did with the Burnsy situation. He probably could have handled that better too. But at the end of the day, it's his team. He can do what he wants. Whatever. I agree with you that they do have some talented players. The defense is a little sus, but spending 15 mil on a guy that's going to only play right wing for you. Yes, we all know Burnsy's center, but he's only going to play right wing. He went 2-0. He slept through his alarm for one of the games. If you want to take a guess at what game that was and who it was against, be my guest. But it's the game that they lost. But no, that Loki's gonna have a good team. Loki's team's gonna be in the playoff spot. He always finds a way to compete. It's him against the community. It seems like right now, but it's his team. He does what he wants.
Would you like to expand further on Loki versus the community?
Yeah, a lot of the people in the management chat did not like what Loki did. There was maybe a few managers that maybe supported his decision, and pretty much everybody kept attacking the Vegas management for what they did, even in the chat box.
So look, I get it. I understand some things, in regards to the situation. I think there was mismanagement for sure by Loki. But at the end of the day, it's a free market, and that's the way I see it. There was a right to get this player, but what I will say is the way everything's been handled after. I think, I think there's a lot. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think it's been botched by Vegas a little bit, the way it's been handled. I think a lot of things needed to be kept in house. From that perspective there. I think that situation was botched. I think it's fine in regards to winning the player. I think how you handle the player is if he signs up for right wing, you should play right wing. There's a lot of different things. I think I'm not going to sit here and say Loki shouldn't have won Burnsy because he should go to his friends. No, I don't agree with that at all. I think I think when you sign up for bidding and you sign up for LG, you take the risk. You take the risk of going to whatever situation you want. And some people are like, oh, it's the unwritten rule here that you usually contact the player you want to bid on and see their plans. Well, let's be honest here. If Matt for Matt, JC Enterprise, and who's the other guy? NATO contacted Guan and asked him his plans, he'd probably say no to going to there. Do you know what I mean? So you can't. If you ask, you'll get denied. It's just there's a whole different situation. It's not equal footing for a lot of different people. It may not be a popular opinion. It's a free market. I do think the way you handle the players. I think there's something to be said about that, but in regards to the market, I think it's free, it's open, and you can win whoever you want, regardless of where they want to go. That's just my thoughts. I don't know if you want to criticize or.
I think you're spot on. Because every time that I go into bidding, which hasn't happened here recently,
right?
I don't really. Obviously, I go into bidding with a team that I want to go to, but if that doesn't end up happening, then I still play. I took that risk. I signed up knowing that I could end up on any team, right? So.
Yep. Unless you want to control your own destiny, and that's what I've been doing lately. In the CHL, I don't know if that applies up here, but yeah, I control my destiny. In the AHL. I re-signed. I don't control my fate anymore. I could end up on, what's it really bad? Ontario. Oh my God. No, thank you. But I could end up there, for sure. It's a free league. It's a free market, right? Owners, unfortunately, can do whatever they want. Some people say it's a players league, but, management, if you know your rights, man, it's a management league too. If you truly grasp the rule book, you can make it a manager's league, and same with the players. If they understand the rule book, they can make it a players league too. So it's hand in hand. It's hand in hand. No, Fly. I swear to God. I swear. Oh my God. Anyways, we're gonna move on after that comment from Fly. He said, "Lou's gonna trade for you now. I'm screwed."
There you go. Have fun on Ontario, pal.
No, it's 100% a players league. We can get into this next week, Grizz, when you come back. If you come back to the show. We don't know where you are at this very moment in time.
Santos knockout here.
Yeah. It's hand in hand, Grizz. It's hand in hand. He'll be home tomorrow. There you go. So he'll be back next week. But
oh boy.
We can have this discussion. I think it depends how you use the rules. It'll really depend on, what you think. That's how I believe the rules to be. If you think it's a players league, that's fair, but it is what it is. Let's move on. Washington B tier. I think there was a couple of those guys in the chat. I'm not too sure. But we have Washington in the B tier. They have a pretty good team. They got Marco up front, obviously a really elite player. I like some of their value too. With Wiki and Tenply. Pure talent, they got on a deal. They bring in a Rags, they bring in a Sleeman. I like the Swibs deal. A lot of people forgot about who he was. I didn't. I like this team a lot. I think B tier is good for them. We just had an intense discussion about management and all that, but I like Washington here. What is your thoughts?
Oh no,
going.
I agree. I definitely Washington's a good team. Again,
Mhm.
that their Marco line beat my line pretty badly. Like it wasn't even close. And I do like their, like you said, Pierre's on a good contract. I like Deceptive. Deceptive is a pretty solid D-man for 500K. Um, Regs is an unbelievable player. He's only 5 mil. Like he's just as good on forward as he is on D. So no, this team is definitely a solid team. That's definitely going to compete for the entire season. Not a fan of Clutch Kolbs, but whatever.
Mhm.
T Hop is pretty good,
Yep.
and Arkin at 1 mil. I mean, it's Arkin, it's Archon Assassin, whatever. He's a good buddy of mine. No, this team is definitely
Archon.
built very well.
Yeah.
And Wayne's a really good guy too, and a solid defenseman.
All right. Last one coming up.
Ooh.
Winnipeg in the C tier. Actually,
Yeah.
I like the Parodies contract. I had him on my team before. He's got elite skill. He's probably one ping in that range. I really like him a lot. Syke, Porter, and Kinger, they're there. I think they're going to be battling for a playoff spot. Weren't they Washington last season?
No, they
No.
were the worst team in the league
They
last
were
season.
Montreal. They were Montreal. That is right.
Yes.
They're currently in a playoff spot, 5-3-1. But we'll see how the season plays out. I think they'll be battling for by the end of it. They do pick up a skilled player in Skillsy, no pun intended, but it is what it is. What are your thoughts on Winnipeg?
They're definitely a much improved team from what they had last season. They're already off to a better start. I think Porter and Syke, and they've been grinding and playing Shell a lot lately. Like look at their esports team, like their LFG team. They've been making some solid runs, and they've taken BBB to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they lost both times in the last game in overtime, but they're definitely looking to prove themselves. I guess as an for an LG standpoint, like Porter and Syke were not happy about where they finished last season. And I like their pieces. Like you said, they brought in Skillsy. They got Rogers. He's good. 4.5. Not so sure about that, but he's still a good player. They have Syke and Kinger on the blue line. Not bad. They have their goalie. They have pretty much their entire esports team, aside from their lefty and right wing. So they're going to be a good team. They're definitely going to be a solid team. I think you originally had them in the B tier, and I asked you to move them down just because of how bad they were last season. I don't think they could. I don't think they should have made the jump up to B just yet.
Right. No, that was a good point. That's why I asked. Right. Anyways.
Yeah. But I think C tier is good.
Right. And that's it. We're done. That's the tier list. There you go. May not have been the most refined tier list, but we'll give you a better one next time, I promise.
More people need to help him out.
Look, if you're listening to the show and you like the tier list shows, shoot me a message, give me your thoughts. Like, I take all the input I can. I asked a couple of guys. I didn't ask Grizz because I didn't want to disturb him on his personal days he took. But I think this is the best I can do. I got input from a bunch of different guys. If you want input, here you go. Like, join the Discord. Like, I say this every time and nobody actually joins. Like, this is where you provide the input, right? This is how you contact me. I say it every time, and people, they're up in arms, and they want to be on the show, but they don't join. I don't know. Like, I made that more as a contact method. You could message me on LG, too. Some people have done that, but if you want input, feel free, man. I actually do take it into the consideration. I think I made some moves that Devin suggested. A couple of other guys suggested a few things. I made some maneuvers around. I think this is the best that I can come up with. Anyways.
I agree. I think I think this list is very fair.
Mhm.
Obviously, some teams are going to have their own opinions, and
Right.
you know,
New
they
York's
just got to prove you
probably
wrong.
up in arms at the moment, the Islanders.
Yeah.
But anyways,
They just got to prove you wrong,
for sure. Right. You know what, Grizz? Next tier list, I'm gonna have you make your own personal tier list, and I'm gonna have a community-based tier list. Grizz has these guys. Just he knows everything. Apparently, he said in the chat there. But anyways. That's it. Prove me wrong if you didn't like it. If you didn't like it, I know Dangs didn't like it. Prove me wrong for sure. And that's the end of the stream. Thanks for watching. You can connect on Twitter. I'll start uploading on Instagram. I actually consulted somebody, a specialist in the field in regards to social media, and I was recommended to start posting on Instagram because the algorithm's better. So I guess I'll start posting on Instagram. I don't know what I'll post. I'll figure it out. I don't even know what Instagram is, to be honest with you. I post clips. Like I don't even know what do you mean clips? Like somebody's gonna have to find me clips from the show. I'll post them. I don't even know, man. And yeah, follow me. I'm gonna upload VODs. I'm gonna start. I was gonna upload right after this show. I'm gonna upload the AHL show from yesterday, and then I have to wait 24 hours. But yeah, I'll start. Any thoughts on anything at the moment, Devin? Like you want to share?
Nope.
Any plugs?
Nothing. I'm just excited to come back for the next tier show, or whenever you want me to come back. I'm always available. Right now, I'm kind of upset because I'm losing money, but it's okay. We still have the bulk of the fights to go tonight, and I want to make some money.
Right. I hope we didn't. The big one. The big one's still on the ticket, right? Like we didn't.
Oh yeah. The big one
Okay.
is not until that. The big one's the last one of the night. So
What time will that be at?
Around close to 1 a.m.
1 a.m. I'm old. Oh my lord. Anyways, maybe I'll stay up. No, I can't. I just fixed my sleep schedule.
12:45 a.m. is when it's scheduled to happen.
By the way, I work now, guys, so I'll try my best to pump out shows. I may miss a week or two, but no, I'm not gonna miss a week. I may miss a show or two, but
it was so boring.
Sorry, the fight.
Oh no, yeah, so boring. I'm mad. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, I'll miss a show or two here and maybe here or there, but I'll still do media. It depends on the situation. I work in tax, and closer to the deadline, it'll get rough. So not the trade deadline, but the tax. So a lot of things to go through, right? So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.